right now from the room. Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, welcome in here to Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Hopefully you have had a fantastic day. We do anticipate that if you weren't cold enough, we've got plenty of cold on the way for the next few days. One of the things we've been tracking all week long here in the Room to Room Weather Center. But this evening in particular, again, a frigid Friday means temperatures probably down 20s. Wind chills, maybe not quite as cold as this morning, but we have plenty of teens for wind chill temperatures eventually ahead, especially looking toward next week. More on that here in just a moment. Obviously consistent cold in the mornings in particular, but we don't really have many afternoons either that even approach where we should be for this time of year. And maybe the question that a lot of folks always want to know, where is the snow? Is there snow? Again, we talked last night about the very, very low likelihood of that. Even if we see flakes, not many of us see anything meaningful. And then honestly, it doesn't even look as good as it did yesterday as far as that's concerned. We're tracking that here in a couple minutes. But our sky cam in Tupelo, provided by the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, and of course brought to you by Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling there. 39 degrees current temperature, feels like 34 with that latest wind gust coming in just a moment ago there. And that glow looking toward the horizon as that sun just about to set. I love the fact it's not set, even though I'm not looking right at it, because I can see a little lens flare there coming on the screen at this point in time. Again, as we check out conditions there in Crenshaw, back out in Delta, we're looking at 37 degrees as well. Just so many great sunset shots out there this afternoon across North Mississippi, and so still definitely looking awesome there in the Crenshaw area. Appreciate the folks out there for watching us here on Mississippi Live Weather. And then in Fulton, again, there's the sun kind of in the corner. 39 degrees in the Fulton area as well. For the first 12 here, we're looking again 36, somewhere mid-30s next hour or so, 29 by 9 p.m., 27 by midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning. Probably low temperatures down there, mid-20s to begin the day. The wind chill on a south wind, about 5 miles per hour or so. I think it's just breezy enough that it makes it feel like the low 20s, but hopefully less locations like the teens than today. Now, we do have some moisture chances coming back in over the next couple of days. Clearly, that's one of the things we've talked a lot about. As far as snowfall regionally is concerned, we do have this system back up to the north and west that we are watching. And this is not a super long loop here. I'm going to make it a 12-hour loop here for a moment so you can kind of get a better idea. This will be what we call a clipper system, because it's coming in from the northwest here and kind of sweeping there through the northeastern United States. So when I worked out on the plains, this would just barely kind of make it into the area. But again, there's enough cold air to reinforce what we have, and the moisture is being provided largely from what's behind it. And that is not a source of very significant moisture typically. So on Mama Justice Doppler radar, what are we expecting next couple days? I think we'll have some showers. Even though this is snowfall up there, you watch the last couple frames of this snowfall back on the plains, it will warm up a lot more by the time it gets down here. And we expect to have much more significant chances for moisture to our east as far as any of that's concerned. So let's come in here a little bit closer and look over the course of Futurecast here on kind of the wide shot. You can see that changeover occurring up there into Illinois and up toward the Great Lakes. It's like there's a magic line there where temperatures go, where that moisture goes from blue to green. And there he is. That's, of course, the freezing point. And I guess in this case, it'd be the melting point. But behind this front, again, reinforcing cold air is there. And here's that first kind of wave of some showers running just a little bit behind it. That will provide some of the moisture that will impact tomorrow. Again, fairly light and all expected at this point here to be liquid when it falls. So over the next 24 hours, we're looking at 29 degrees, as you can see, at 6 o'clock in the morning for tomorrow. We're looking 38 by 9 a.m. And yeah, we're back probably into the lower to middle 50s, which would put us pretty much right on where we should be for this time of year for temperatures. Winds remain somewhat breezy, and so that still has a bit of a chill to it even in the afternoon. Now, rainfall is not significant per se, not going to really add up to much, but we have a limited coverage there at around 10% coverage for the evening for tomorrow. Could impact us as we're on our way, or maybe you're on our way to our Mississippi Live game of the week. Of course, we'll be talking more about the forecast for that coming up here in 60 seconds. We're also, again, looking at that chance for a little bit of wintry precipitation, which is one of those things that everyone always tends to talk about over there in that chat. Good evening to everyone there for watching us. I see no snow. I see Mary wants my email address, matt@msliveweather.com. Boy, I'm glad Gabe behind the scenes there replying as me. We'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation, and we'll continue this right after these messages.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's time to save big at Room to Room's New Year's sale. Store-wide markdowns 50 to 70% off. No tax. 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. There's no place like home.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather here at 5 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. On kind of the wide shot, one of the things that comes out on Thursday's drought monitor, and we've seen some improvement in the drought with some of the rainfall that we've had recently. This is, again, the data from today, and I'll go back to the previous one that would have been out last week. And you can see we did, on a fairly widespread scale, have that level 2 out of 5 drought. We have seen some improvement in that over this week. As you can see here, more into the yellow, but everyone's still under a drought at this time. And this is the time of year where we pick up typically a ton of moisture. We haven't really had that this time around. So definitely need to see an improvement. And I think eventually that is something that we will see. Outside this evening, again, our cameras all across North Mississippi with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers just have so many beautiful ones we're able to check out here. Green one that we're working on. And the reason I pull this up is because the North Mississippi Storm Chasers are a 501c3. They do take your donations, but they do this all out of the kindness of donations out there. So from time to time, these are going to go down. They require maintenance. And, you know, we do donate some money to them. But if you would be consider becoming a donor, certainly you can find out more at nmscas.org. Out in Winona, we're mostly clear. And again, that sun about to dip below the horizon at this instant as we check out one of our cameras there in Amory down in Monroe County. As we wrap up today, what has been a fairly chilly day, coming in 39 degrees. Those last little glimmers of sunlight there on the horizon. So no precipitation showing up there on Mississippi Live Mama Justice Doppler radar at this point in time here. And we don't expect precipitation to be an issue on the first part of your school day forecast for tomorrow there. 30 degrees, that drop-off temperature. We're 48 by lunch and 55 by the final bell. And again, appreciate IMPC for sponsoring our school day forecast. Okay, I'm going to pull up the conversation here as we kind of go through and start rolling on to this evening, because I know that one of the questions people still, of course, want to know is any of that wintry sort of stuff. And I'll bring this back full screen here and then we'll do that. So I apologize that I kind of flipped it back and forth on you for just a moment. But nothing out there really to track as far as tonight is concerned other than those cold temperatures. And they do continue into this evening on those southerly winds. We start bringing up maybe a little bit more moisture, but nowhere near enough to produce any meaningful precipitation really this time around. As we progress into tonight, you'll continue to see, again, mostly clear and mostly dry conditions. Midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I have just the littlest bit of moisture up here a little bit near Savannah, Tennessee, but not expecting that to really add up to much in any of the rain gauges. My watch is saying, hey, what are we going to see on the wintry stuff? Yes, we're getting to that in a second. But tonight, as we answer that question, there's nothing out there, and there wasn't ever expected to be for this evening. So temperatures expected to be in the mid-20s, coming in 26 degrees or so in Bruce, Water Valley at 27, 26 Eupora, and at this instant coming in the neighborhood of about 28 there for Kosciuszko and Louisville to begin your Friday. As we go through Friday, again, mostly clear skies remain the weather story. For the first part of the day, still those breezes, making sure that wind chill temperature down there in the low 20s. Here are those southerly breezes, and they keep those chilly sort of feeling temperatures even into the day. And yes, while we do start increasing the clouds, I think the increased clouds and the breezy conditions keep us just a little bit cool, with rain chances primarily back to the north and west. And we'll kind of show these noontime, 1, 2 o'clock, kind of shifting in up into Tennessee where they're much more likely. Maybe some Hernando back out into extreme eastern Arkansas. Corinth, we show some sprinkles, but if you look at the scale here, we never get anything that's terribly high up. So most of this remains fairly light, maybe expanding slightly farther southward by 5 to 6 o'clock. So sprinkles for your evening commute, more likely, and yes, the nearest snowfall up there into the mountains, or at least some of the higher elevations there in eastern Tennessee. So high temperatures for tomorrow. Again, only 50 we'll say for South Haven, 51 degrees or so there, 52 in Senatobia versus 60 in Kosciuszko, 59 Louisville, 60 in Macon. That contrast because of that front sweeping into the area, kind of quick on the heels of the last one. And that, again, helping to keep the moisture a little bit cooler. Mississippi Live Game of the Week, of course, we're going to be up there, Tisch County, and excited to kind of check out I have not made it to a basketball game this year, so I'm excited to go, and great and happy to be pairing up there again with the good folks at Casey Lott and Langston Lott for our Mississippi High School Game of the Week. And yes, there will be some shower chances out there, so don't be shocked if you have sprinkles, but this is, you can see, well above the freezing point. No sort of frozen anything related to that. So Futurecast has, again, those showers kind of shifting eastward as we progress into Friday evening, and by a late Friday night, we already start to see the back edge of this storm system. Okay, so here is the thing. As we've talked about, that heads down to the coast, and this is very effective at pushing in dry air and scooping the moisture out and transporting it someplace else. Not a lot of moisture behind this, but there's a little white stuff, and I really want to point out, while there's a little bit of moisture back out there in Oklahoma, Texas, or even down there in Louisiana, it's all coated in green at this point here. And as we talked about last night, if you want wintry stuff, unfortunately, we're fighting warm temperatures. And while it's not warm for Saturday morning, those low temperatures are going to be down there in the low 30s, and the freezing point is 32. So note immediately here, again, we're going to show the wind chill temperatures, and those are going to be somewhere in the mid-20s. But again, we're around the freezing point, a couple degrees colder than that to start Saturday. But notice the sky conditions as we start Saturday. Mostly clear. That means we're instantly getting some sunshine, and that means we're going to start warming up. And so temperatures start increasing 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And so by the time we start to see some moisture here around noontime, we have temperatures at the surface that are well above the freezing point. And so that means this stuff we see from Macon, for Yazoo City, all the green you see down here, Crystal Springs, up in the sky, this is all snow. But because of warm temperatures, unfortunately, scribbles that out. Oh, I was in front of it. Sorry. I should maybe look at the monitor occasionally. So here's the takeaway on this. This all starts off as snow aloft. But by the time it gets to the surface, it melts to something else. And as we change models there, you can see our strike model has come in massively drier, and I think a little too far south. And we talk about this. We're going to see the model shift south, shift back north. But the big takeaway is that I think we're well above the freezing point, and that's going to probably melt anything significant as we go into your Saturday. And as we talked about a lot last night, looking at Snow Finder, and we'll show that again during our 6 o'clock broadcast and talk through the possibility there, that our percentages were never high, were they? You get the impact if you get the snow, but the likelihood remained low. And unfortunately, this is no shock, that likelihood has gone down even from last night. So high temperatures, this is the key. If these were, say, 38, 39, down here where there's moisture. I know you're pretty close to that up here, South Haven. There's no moisture up here for Tunica or Senatobia. But down south, where we have, 48 there, Starkville, 49 from Macon, if you were 10 degrees colder, I could see some flakes. But as we talked about last night, it's all falling in the relatively warm air, and that's going to eat this up. So I know, folks, the no snow crowd, this is the forecast for you. And Futurecast, again, keeping us, let's show you on the wide shot there, even for folks down there closer to the coast. That's how much milder they are as well. And I do think, again, our strike model on Futurecast here, keeping us a little bit extra far south. I think the positioning probably could be shifted northward a little bit. But because of that, you'll see now a lot of that coating in as rainfall. In fact, on this particular projection, it largely goes away until early Sunday morning there, where we start to see snowfall on the north side of this. Could this shift back northward? Yes. Could this shift back northward far enough to make it into our area? Let's just look at mileage on this. And again, we're still, what is this? This Sunday morning, Saturday morning, Friday morning. So 2.5 days out. 90-mile shift's not impossible. But I'm going to bring in our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, behind the scenes here for a moment. And Gabe, just kind of looking at this, and you've been looking at other projections as well, and you've got a nice ad there.
Not a sponsor.
Good job on that.
Let me scroll back up.
Not a sponsor, just an advertisement on the website.
There we go.
Man, we need to learn. But yeah, there you go. As you can see, way south on pretty much all the projections. So let's kind of look at the different ones here for a moment, talk about this, because this is not an isolated projection going even farther south.
No, they're all trending south, and albeit a little bit more east as well. And so I think that's one note in the forecast. And we'll see it on Snow Finder coming up at 6 o'clock. So I'm teasing it, but not giving it all away just yet. But all of these kind of lining up together. If you look right here, we basically have that little swath of snowfall. And this is as of midnight on Sunday night. So this is after that snow threat has passed. We're still getting that line right across southern Georgia, southern Alabama, and even for parts of the coastal regions. This is the European model, which has been very pessimistic on these snow chances, and even that starting to filter in some of those flakes in the forecast. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side of the equation you're on, it's not going to be here in North Mississippi. Even our American model downtrending significantly. Some of the totals that it was showing yesterday, ambitious is an understatement, but now shifting all those chances primarily out there into Georgia and up there towards the Carolinas, where it's some higher elevations, but also going to be a little bit colder because that's going to be occurring later into the night. Of course, the NAM, I would say the NAM, pretty aggressive as well, Matt, and you can see some of those totals. I mean, we're not going to be getting a 6-inch forecast. I'm going to set that right now.
We don't say those words out loud. When it's aggressive, we just say, look at the pretty colors, because so no one quotes us on saying that's what we said it was. That's a projection. That is not a forecast.
We'll just move it back.
But as you can see, unfortunately well, I mean, and here's the thing. We intentionally sliced some accumulation off of the models last night when we showed that because we were fairly pessimistic on it. But yeah, this is what happens on these kind of events, shifting back southward. We will see probably a northward wobble still possible all the way into our area, significant snowfall. I don't think that's the case. We'll talk more about that coming up at 6 o'clock. I appreciate that, Gabe. Our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, they're back in the room-to-room weather center tracking things with this. Now, as far as low temperatures are concerned, back up here, I think we're going to continue to probably have, for us, a fairly cool start to early tomorrow morning, down to 20, we'll say, in Senatobia, 20 in Oxford, 19 degrees in Bruce for Sunday morning. Sunday morning starting with about 20 there in Eupor. So, yeah, lots and lots of cold air on the backside of this. And those wind chill temperatures early Sunday, even colder. Down here to 11, what it feels like, 13 New Albany. One of those things I think a lot of folks feel like in this situation is that, well, it's cold enough, why doesn't it just do it? Well, If that's the way you feel, let us know in the comments. One of these days, I'll figure out which side it is. It's right finger on that. I point that direction. Whatever. Anyway, you'll tell us in the comments over there how you feel related to this as well. But I imagine a lot of folks just feel cold or maybe left out in the cold. High temperatures on Sunday, only low to mid 30s for a lot of spots. If these were Saturday's temperatures, snow. There won't be. I don't think there's a scenario where these end up as Saturday's high temperatures. But if that were the case, that's where we get it. So again, we're too warm to really support any kind of significant snowfall there. So rain coverage, we're about 20%. And yes, just rain coverage on Saturday. Now, you might remember that Gabe and I talked back and forth on this 7-day forecast during our broadcast yesterday. Gabe, come back on for just a second here, and I'll give credit where credit is due on this for a moment. And that is, when we talked about this, I was like, hold on. You left a percentage off of the 7-day forecast, and you accurately said
it's going to be dry. It's going to be south. Not a lot of moisture.
So while the odds weren't zero, we never even had a percentage on the forecast for tomorrow. So, that shows you are confident. Yeah, I'll give you credit, credit where credit is due. Because again, this is designed to be our expected coverage of meaningful moisture. And obviously snow is very meaningful when it happens, but that shift, not one that necessarily worked in our favor. So props to Gabe.
Hey, a
Good
broken
job.
clock is right twice a day, and that's what I'll take going to the bank. So, yep.
Well, there you go. Gabe Maynor comparing himself to a clock. Appreciate that.
A broken one at that.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap things, yeah, a broken one at that. For whatever reason, my thing's not wanting to hop over there and pop it back. So we're going to make it manually come on back there like that. So 7-day forecast. Beyond this, though, it is cold. I mean, only 31 for Saturday morning, yes, but Sunday morning 21, 22 for Monday. And then we're talking about teens out there for low temperatures by Tuesday next week. I mean, when you look at this, outside of next Thursday and the chances for moisture that come with that, we are down there where the warmest day is right a degree below freezing on Saturday morning. So this is a really, really cold forecast going forward, looking over the course of the next week. And you definitely want to make sure that you stay prepared for that. Our friends over at Absolute Restoration, we've talked about these a number of times recently, giving away these faucet covers. And they're, for your spigot outside to kind of protect it in one way or another. This is a stress you need to do that. Otherwise, we're going to have some broken pipes Sunday morning, Monday, Tuesday of next week. We go through a phase there. We at least get above freezing in the afternoons. So that helps us out some. But, check them out on Facebook, our friends over there at Absolute Cleaning and Restoration. Our next live broadcast is going to come up here at 6 p.m. And what we will be tracking is we'll be focusing on those chances for snow. But this doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. They're not very good. In saying that, we will look at Snow Finder, where it's placing those greatest chances, and have that for you coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to us here on Mississippi Live Weather. If you don't yet have the app as we head into storm season, we certainly clearly recommend it. Best way to do that is to pick up, and that went ahead, that should clear back off here. Hold on. Oh, I hit the shows button instead of QR codes. Sorry. Let's do that. Pop me back on. Gabe, we're going to take away my toys. If I keep this up, we'll have to take away my toys because that live show lineup is really sticking with it today. So anyway, we'll fix that. We'll see y'all at 6.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.